Appreciate your time and attention this morning. I'd like to introduce the global manager of global marketing for G&W Electric, Kelly DePuter, who will be giving us a brief overview of today. And just so you know, we are recording this event for other media that couldn't attend. So Kelly will run through the run of show this morning, and then we'll open it up for questions. So thank you for joining again, and uh, Kelly, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Yep. And good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm honored and thrilled to actually have this opportunity today to finally be able to share some exciting news from G&W Electric. Today, we're going to be unveiling an innovation that's new to the electrical industry. This new solution is going to bring functionality that has never been done before to the subtransmission market. So we're thrilled to have you join us this morning. Our company, G&W Electric, which most of you know, is based out of Bolingbrook, Illinois, and we're entering our 117th year of operations. In 1905, we were founded on innovation as well as being defined by our customer service. Our core principles are around quality, safety, and environmental stewardship, and these guide our organization every day. And we hope that you'll see through this new announcement today that these core principles are evident in this new solution. Today, you're going to be hearing a brief message from our owner, our CEO and our owner, John H. Mueller. He'll be talking a little bit about the history of G&W Electric's innovation, as well as telling the story behind how this new solution came to life. Following the message from John Mueller, I'll be introducing John Ganaris, our VP of Marketing, as well as Harold Hertz, who is our Overhead Global Product Manager, and they're going to go into further details around this new technological breakthrough and the details and benefits that it's going to bring to the market. Before we begin, though, I would like you to know that we have everybody muted. We will be covering questions at the end, and while we're going through our presentation, do not hesitate to use the chat function. Our PR partners, Scott and Morgan, will be making sure that we address all of your questions throughout the session and especially at the end. And without further delay, I would love to share with you a brief message from our CEO, John H. Mueller.
Hello, my name is John Mueller, and I am the Chairman, CEO, and majority owner of G&W Electric Company. We've been a family-owned business for 107. This year's our 117th year in existence, and it's all been predicated on inventions and innovation going back to our founding in 1905. I want to specifically talk about the past 20, 30 years since I've been involved in the company. And I'm only speaking about our innovation in switchgear, specifically distribution rated switchgear, going back to 1991 when we introduced the first electronically controlled fault interrupter. It was our PVI product. We then introduced the first dead front solid dielectric recloser, and quickly followed up with the first individually controlled triple single recloser, solid dielectric, dead front construction, the Viper ST. Soon thereafter, we introduced the first solid dielectric pad mount vault submersible switchgear, and probably the most incredible innovation on our solid dielectric switchgear was about 8 or 9 years ago when we introduced the first visible break solid dielectric switchgear to the world. So we have a very rich history in our development of switchgear. About 8 or 9 years ago, some of our wonderful customers, mainly here in the United States, who were huge Viper recloser customers, were begging us for the next level Viper, which I am proud to say today we are introducing the Viper HV, the first 72.5 kV solid dielectric recloser distribution, or dare I use the term distribution, It's a combination, let's call it subtransmission, transmission, recloser, distribution automation switch, automatic transfer switch. It can do anything using all of our wonderful technology from magnetic actuation to solid dielectric insulation. So the Viper HV, which started out as a customer want 8 or 9 years ago, has finally come to fruition. The Viper HV is just one of many new products that we will be introducing to the world as we move forward. And G&W will continue to increase our investment in R&D spending so that we can continue to bring out state-of-the-art equipment and solutions for the grid that is evolving like no other time in the past 130 years of electricity. This is a very, very exciting time for our customers. It's a very exciting time for G&W Electric and its employees. And the Viper HV is just the beginning of this excitement as the years go on. So, and I want to thank all of you for your trust in G&W Electric Company.
Well, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about G&W Electric's history of innovation, as well as the exciting news of the launch of our new Viper HV 72.5 kV recloser. And now I would like to introduce Harold Hertz, our Overhead Global Product Manager, as well as John Ganaris, our VP of Marketing, and they will take us through some more details in regards to this new solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, and thanks for everyone for joining us this morning on this truly historic event for G&W Electric, as we offer what we think is a very unique solution for the utility industry for subtransmission voltages. I wanted to briefly cover some grid challenges that I think we're all pretty aware of. Today's grid is faced with an aging infrastructure in combination with an increase in severe weather events related to climate change. I think these are things that we're all very aware of in the news, whether it's wildfires in California to winter storms throughout the Midwest. Users of electric power are seeing more frequent disruptions to their electricity and more and longer durations of outages. It's causing a lot of reliability concerns on the grid. In combination with that, a lot of the equipment, particularly in the subtransmission space, are seeing very high maintenance costs. There's a lot of antiquated technology in the subtransmission space, whether it's air insulated devices or even SF6 insulated devices. This equipment requires regular and robust maintenance programs to keep them operating in tip-top shape. And in combination with these challenges, we're seeing a more distributed grid. A lot more renewables are being installed. It's accelerating year after year. And this is creating a situation that's very unique to the grid of today, where we've got two-way power flows that are necessitating the need for real-time monitoring, as well as much more control that's needed. G&W is taking a look at these challenges, and we think we're offering a very unique solution in solving a lot of this. We're taking much of the functionality that utilities have enjoyed in the substation space and applying that outside the substation for the first time. We're incorporating unique sensing technologies along with relay-based protection, and we're packaging this in a solid dielectric vacuum interrupter-based form factor that doesn't require the use of SF6 insulation. And we're expanding the maintenance-free concept that we've made very popular in the distribution space and now making it available in the subtransmission space. So as our owner has already introduced to you, I'd also like to introduce the world's first 72 kV pull-top recloser, our Viper HV. This is yet another industry first from G&W Electric. The Viper HV provides an additional zone of overcurrent protection to isolate faults on overhead subtransmission lines outside the substation. The Viper HV is a very unique product. It's a self-contained system. It's a 3-in-1 device that incorporates the ability of a recloser, as well as embedded current transformers and voltage sensors. And this is going to provide utilities better functionality on a pole without the added expense of building a brand new substation. Harry, I turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, thank you, John, and good morning. I'm really, as my colleagues have stated, really excited to spend some time with you to share a couple different things around the technical details and the insight behind this industry-first innovation. One of the really core concepts behind this innovation was to supply our users with enhanced overcurrent protection, essentially more zones of protection and fault isolation that was traditionally only available within the substation fenced area. So again, really excited to provide this innovation to the power grid that's never been available before. And one of the key elements that we talk about in the Viper HV is the ultimate user level of flexibility. Here at G&W Electric, we really pride ourselves on modular designs that basically provide our users very simple, but very complex in functionality. But we want to integrate it seamlessly to their grid. And we do that with this offering by providing a variety of configurations that match up with the physical infrastructure of their grid, such as phase over phase physical constructions. These are for vertical construction lines that exist on the subtransmission. There's also horizontal constructions that exist. So we offer a cross-arm version. Again, these are physical elements to allow us to put our product and this innovation in close proximity to the infrastructure that it needs to be applied in. Again, our modular design, it's a turnkey solution. So we're providing reliability with maintenance-free concepts, as John mentioned. This is essentially maintenance-free because there's no gases or oil that are traditionally required for this voltage class. So this cost-effective turnkey solution packaged in a complete integrated solution provides the much needed system reliability and subtransmission grid resiliency. Again, as Mr. Mueller mentioned, our recloser that we've actually been really successful in North America and around the world is really originally designed to utilize to reduce the number and frequency of outages on overhead distribution circuits up to 38 kV. We've now introduced Viper HV that brings this concept and all the values that the distribution arena to the subtransmission grid and infrastructure all the way up to 72.5 kV. Again, the very first of its kind in the world. The application of this technology is really in between the substations, out on those main subtransmission lines, allowing the circuit based on functionality, ability to sense overcurrent and adverse condition, turn off only that element of the circuit, and try to return it as quickly as possible through what we call reclosing. On that main line is a series of taps. Those taps could be for industrial customers, interconnects, but this particular product is really conducive of those taps where now you have a complete overcurrent protection. And again, only that tap will be de-energized and isolated, and the rest of the infrastructure will be staying on, which is a key element associated with grid resiliency and reliability. The next application I talked about is a little bit of what we call a select substations. There's many substations around the grid. The concept of this particular solutions are for those substations that are maybe interconnections, or as I mentioned before, the interties with utilities, or industrial customers that have a transformer. Ability to isolate adverse conditions, and those particular conditions are really powerful for the grid and our users. Again, the application, what we talk about in this particular product is not new to the industry. It's new to the voltage class, again, because it was traditionally only available within those substation fence. Circuit breakers, circuit switchers were the only things that were able to turn off an adverse condition on the sub-transmission line. With this solution, we can actually put it midstream or multiple on a given line to allow high-speed detection of a fault, high-speed restoration. Again, if that fault is temporary in nature, the circuit will quickly turn off and then re-energizing, restoring everybody back out on that line. It could be radio configurations, but the concept of turning off and turning on the circuit as quickly as possible is a really powerful element of this application. Sectionalizing and switching. The legacy products that are available within substations or outside of substations out on the main lines are really legacy motor operated disconnect switches, very simple devices that basically allow the isolation of particular, could be manual, could be automation, but it has no ability to isolate current or faults. So again, ability to provide this product and retrofit a solution that is really heavy in maintenance in terms of the air disconnect switches to allow low break switching, again, open tie points within the grid. And again, as I mentioned earlier, interconnection points with our utility customers. Everything we do here at G&W Electric is based on automation platform. Again, the speed, the requirements, the detection, and the monitoring, as John mentioned, are really the key elements to provide decision-making, both automatically and also at the human level, that the users can actually isolate the grid. That system reconfiguration and having an apparatus with the current and embedded, for the very first time in the industry, embedded voltage sensing gives that key elements for the monitoring and isolation that's really critical to keeping the grid intact and under these adverse conditions. Concepts of auto transfers, concepts of fault isolation and service restoration are really the key buzzwords that are control and sophisticated capabilities of the element that we provide through partnerships with engineering, relay engineering companies like Schweitzer Engineering gives us that platform that we need to provide an automated platform. So though we are formally launching the Viper HV to the market today, our work in collaboration with our key partners really started a long time ago. And one of those key partners, a very forward-thinking Northeast utility, really helped us define the solution that we have available today. So what you see in the images below, and as an actual installation of the very first recloser out on their sub-transmission grid. Again, these images show a phase over phase configuration. That is where the vertical construction of the conductors, again, are represented here in the image. And it was energized right around November, American Thanksgiving. And now today, currently, we are shipping multiple systems per month to this utility who are engaging in full deployment this year and in the coming years. So at this time, I'd like to to share a short installation video that shows all the energy and hard work that we put together with this key utility in this collaborative effort.
Thank you, Harry. Give me just 1 sec and I will get our video up and running. Great. Thank you, Harry, and thank you, John. I hope you enjoyed our short little video from our installation this last fall out at our Northeast utility. Now what we would like to do is to open it up for questions, and if possible, please use the raise hand function so that we can see that's at the top of your screen, third from the left. And then also you can use the chat function, and Scott and Morgan will be looking for those questions, and we'll make sure that we get those all addressed. Thank you.
And yeah, please feel free to go on mic if you just want to go ahead and answer your questions. I do have a question for John and Harold though. Specifically, how does the Viper HV functionality compare with existing legacy circuit breakers and circuit switchers?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. That's a really good question. So again, the only available product or solution to the industry was circuit breakers and circuit switchers, which are really packaged fundamentally to be inside a control area, such as a fenced-in area. So the functionality of that we're offering the Viper HV is 100% equivalent of the fault detection, the fault isolation, the capabilities of circuit breakers. But the unique element is that circuit breakers at this voltage classes are been traditionally insulated with SF6 or maybe oil. So again, that solid dielectric platform is really powerful because it makes us maintenance free. So when we're putting strategic integrated solutions out on the grid, we don't want to worry about basically the insulation or the functionality. The other elements, again, is the modeling of this particular solution, ability to actually take a put the apparatus in close proximity to the conductor, packaging the hardware so it's seamless is really the differentiator with a Viper HV compared to those legacy solutions. So all those check marks that John talked about in terms of a solution and taking care of those particular issues on the grid really was the concept behind this product.
Great. Nikki, I see that you have your hand raised. You want to go ahead and answer your question?
Yeah, congratulations,
question.
guys. Yeah, congratulations on the announcement here.
Great.
On the so you said that you're working with the Northeast utility. How soon are you from announcing who that would be, and maybe possibly having them talk about, you know, if they've done some installation and how that's working for them?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And again, we're excited to basically go into a collaboration, and IEEE is a trade show that we are
Yes.
actually going to jointly present on their innovation stage. So it's a case study with this particular utility who will share their thoughts, their initiatives, and really be open and transparent. They are a utility, again, as I mentioned, they're really forward thinking. They like what they do, they're proud of what they do, and they want to share for the betterment of the industry. So at IEEE, we'll be able to unveil. And again, as our partners and our customers, we do share, and this particular utility allows us to share the concept of what we've done. So we've shared this utility, this experience to our customers as we go forward.
Great, thanks. We'll be there.
Good.
Any other questions from our colleagues here? I have just two more. I'll talk about the flexibility in various configurations you mentioned during Harold. So just give us some more detail about what that exactly means, those various configurations.
Yeah, sure. One of the things I just mentioned just briefly was the legacy solutions that are available. So the only thing that was available outside the substation were these air disconnect switches. Some of them are purely manual in operation, so they got to dispatch a crew and a team out there. So for us, in terms of being able to right out of the gate provide technical solutions, bracketry, and again, not only from the electrical sophisticated elements of currents and voltage integrated, we pride ourselves in the mechanical element, modeling exactly infrastructures. Again, I talked about that phase over phase physical construction. That's when you drive down the line and you see these conductors, these large wires sitting on top of each other. We've made configurations, hardware, so our customers can kind of visualize exactly how it can be put on their system. And again, horizontal construction, again, conductors sitting next to each other. One of the things when you're bringing innovation that's never been seen, sometimes our customers have to visually see it, packaged it well. And so again, we offer all that right out of the gate here with a variety of physical configurations so they can start to envision how this can be applied on their system in the grid.
Great. Talk a little bit about automation. You talked a lot about how this is automated. Oh, before we do that, Jennifer, you have a question. Why don't you unmute yourself and let us know what you have to say?
Well, thanks. Scott. I appreciate where you are going to with your question, but I'm wondering if you can talk about the development of the product. Was this a requested feature or something that utilities were kind of clamoring for? How did you guys come about creating something brand new?
Yeah, John, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so Jennifer, the idea for the Viper HV, as many of G&W's great new product ideas come from our customer base, and G&W has enjoyed a lot of success, particularly with utilities, with our Viper product line, and at the distribution levels. And many of those customers were asking for that same type of capability, but just at higher voltages. And really, the genesis of it came from a handful of utilities that were large Viper ST users. They were interested in the solid dielectric insulation, the vacuum interruption, the elimination of maintenance. They were interested in the various sensor suites being embedded into the device, and the ability to do basically any type of switching, sectionalization, automation, overcurrent protection with a single device, kind of a jack of all trades. Listening to our customers is a core G&W principle. It's something that we do in our day-to-day business, but it also applies to our new product developments. And so it sounded like a really exciting idea to us. It sounded really challenging. No one had ever done it before, and that excites our organization. And we decided to develop it.
Awesome. Thank you.
One last question, and then we will wrap it up. Just talking about automation and talk a little bit about G&W's, the different options and solutions you offer in combination with this new product.
Yeah. This is one of the backbones in our organization. We have obviously very sophisticated apparatuses that have the capability of kind of doing all the heavy lifting that the grid requires. But that's only part of the solution. Being able to package an integrated control that matches up with the utility. So we've actually partnered with Schweitzer Engineering for quite some time, and we've developed a couple control platforms for this particular product. One is the recloser, really the state-of-the-art recloser relay, the SEL 651R2 that has traditionally been a distribution go-to relay, has all the capabilities of reclosing functionality. And then the high speed, some of the substation have a little different mindset and different approaches. So the SEL 421, again, I know these are a bit of relays, but these platforms at the sub-transmission are really the high speed, the sensitivity, even the dual redundancy, basically putting relays together out in the substations is what we've made. We prided ourselves, obviously, in providing customers and an owner, as you heard, that supports all the crazy innovation that we think about. And then if we have a customer that's pushing, really comes together quickly. Controls, communication, whether it's cellular communication or high-speed fiber optics, all the plethora of information that can come from these, and every utility is slightly different. So we've basically incorporated a modular platform control, so we can actually plug and play whatever element that kind of suits their fancy, if you will, and matches up with their infrastructure. We do, based on the nature of a self-contained, test and validate both the recloser, the cable, and the relay all together. That's part of the standard for the IEEE. That's the value of an integrated solution that's 100% packaged and tested together. So again, all that core elements and providing a very open platform. And part of our organization has what we describe as our laser power grid automation team. So this is a core element that we offer that we can take and integrate this high sophisticated device and plug it into their system through programming, through logics. So all that restoration can all come from both the supplier of the mechanism, the controller, and actually the software to make it actually optimize on the grid. So really powerful stuff that we're excited about.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, we are at time, so I believe, yeah, Kelly?
Yep. Yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We hope that you really enjoyed your time today. We appreciate you joining us for this media briefing and us being able to give you kind of a sneak peek before we actually have our official launch, which is scheduled for today at 10 a.m. Central Time. We will be providing you, Scott and Morgan will be providing you with a link to the unveiling that will take place at 10 a.m. Central Time today, along with some photos and the press release. If you do have any further questions, please reach out to Scott and to Morgan, and we'll make sure that we get all the answers that you need. Thank you so much for participating and joining our call today.
Thank
Thank
you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.